There's a drink that millions of people have in their kitchen right now, something so simple you probably walked past it this morning, and research suggests it may be one of the most helpful things you can give your kidneys before you go to sleep tonight. But here's what caught my attention. Most people aren't drinking it, they're reaching for something else instead, something they believe is healthy, something that might actually be making their kidneys work harder through the night when they should be recovering. And that quiet mistake, repeated night after night, month after month, can slowly add stress to two organs that never get a break. Your kidneys work around the clock. They don't stop when you sleep. In fact, some of the most important repair and filtering happens while you're resting. So what you drink in that last hour before bed matters more than most people realize. Today I'm going to walk you through what the research actually says about the best bedtime drink for kidney health. I'll explain why it works, what it does inside your body while you sleep, and I'll share a few drinks that many people think are helping their kidneys but may actually be doing the opposite. And toward the end, I'll show you a simple adjustment to your evening routine that can make a real difference, something that takes less than 2 minutes. Stay with me, because the part that surprises most people comes about halfway through. Let me start with something that I think deserves more attention. Your kidneys are only about the size of your fist, each one, and yet every single day they filter roughly 50 gallons of blood. Think about that for a moment. 50 gallons. That's enough to fill a bathtub. They pull out waste, balance your fluids, help regulate your blood pressure, manage your electrolytes, and even play a role in keeping your bones strong. All of that from two small organs tucked in behind your lower ribs. Now here's where it gets important. When you sleep, your body shifts into a recovery mode. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure naturally dips, your muscles relax, and your kidneys, they're still filtering, they're still working, but they do adjust. Overnight, your kidneys concentrate your urine. That's why your first bathroom trip in the morning usually looks darker than what you see during the day. Your body is conserving water while still removing waste. But if your kidneys don't have enough fluid to work with during those hours, the waste becomes more concentrated. Minerals can start clumping together. Toxins linger a little longer than they should. And over time, this can contribute to problems like kidney stones, increased strain on the filtering units inside your kidneys, and a gradual decline in how well they function. So, the question becomes, what should you actually drink before bed to give your kidneys the best possible support overnight? Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Margaret. She's 72. She came in one day because she'd been reading online about all these special kidney detox teas and nighttime health tonics. She'd been buying one after another, some of them expensive, some with ingredients she couldn't even pronounce. And she asked me a simple question. She said, "What should I really be drinking before bed?" I smiled because the answer was something she already had at home. Water. Plain, simple water. That's the foundation. And I know that might sound too basic. You might be thinking, that's it? But let me explain why water is so powerful for your kidneys, especially at night, and then I'll show you how to make it even better. Your kidneys depend on adequate hydration to flush waste products out of your blood. When there isn't enough water flowing through the system, your kidneys have to work harder to concentrate that waste. It's like trying to rinse a dirty dish with just a few drops of water. You can do it, but it takes more effort, and the dish doesn't come out as clean. Now, research published in medical literature has consistently shown that chronic low fluid intake is associated with a higher risk of kidney stones and may contribute to a faster decline in kidney function over time. One large study that followed thousands of participants found that people who drank more water had a significantly lower risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who drank less. The relationship was clear. More water meant less stress on the kidneys. But here's what most people get wrong about water and sleep. They either drink too much right before bed, which means they're up 3 times a night running to the bathroom, or they stop drinking hours before bed because they're afraid of that exact problem. Both extremes miss the point. The goal isn't to flood your system right before you lie down. The goal is to arrive at bedtime already well hydrated, and then take a modest amount of fluid, just enough to support your kidneys through the night without disrupting your sleep. For most people, that means a small glass, about 6 to 8 ounces, sipped slowly, not gulped, about 30 to 60 minutes before you plan to fall asleep. This gives your body time to process the fluid, lets you make one bathroom trip before bed, and still leaves enough hydration for your kidneys to work with during the night. That's the foundation. But now let me show you something that can take this simple habit to another level. This is the part where things get really interesting. If you take that glass of water and add fresh lemon juice, you may be giving your kidneys one of the most practical forms of protection available, and it's backed by a good body of research. Here's why. Lemon juice is one of the richest natural sources of citrate. Citrate is a compound that plays a direct role in preventing the formation of kidney stones. It works in two ways. First, citrate binds to calcium in your urine. Calcium is one of the main building blocks of the most common type of kidney stone, called a calcium oxalate stone. When citrate binds to that calcium, it makes it much harder for stones to form. Think of it like a safety net that catches the calcium before it can clump together into a hard crystal. Second, citrate raises the pH of your urine slightly, making it less acidic. A more acidic environment encourages stone formation. A slightly more alkaline environment discourages it. So lemon juice works on both fronts at the same time. Medical guidelines from major urology organizations have long recommended increasing citrate intake for people who are at risk of kidney stones. And while citrate supplements exist, many physicians suggest starting with the natural source first, which is citrus fruit, especially lemons and limes. Now, how much are we talking about? You don't need to squeeze an entire bag of lemons into your glass. About half a lemon squeezed into 8 ounces of water is a reasonable amount. Some people prefer a full lemon. Either is fine for most adults. The key is consistency. Doing this regularly is what provides the benefit, not doing it once in a while. And here's a bonus that most people don't think about. Lemon water has almost no sugar. Compare that to orange juice or grapefruit juice, which also contain citrate but come with a significant amount of natural sugar. For anyone watching their blood sugar, especially people with diabetes or prediabetes, lemon water gives you the citrate benefit without the sugar cost. That's a meaningful advantage. Margaret, the woman I mentioned earlier, switched to this: a small glass of warm water with half a lemon about 45 minutes before bed. She told me after a few weeks that she actually started looking forward to it. It became her signal that the day was winding down, a small ritual that helped her relax. But let me be clear about something. Lemon water is not a cure. It doesn't reverse kidney disease. It doesn't dissolve stones that have already formed. What it may do, based on the available evidence, is reduce the risk of new stones forming and provide gentle, ongoing support for kidney function. That's what we're aiming for. Small, consistent habits that add up over time. Now, let me shift to something that might surprise you. There's another drink that's been getting a lot of attention, and I want to give you the full picture because the research is genuinely encouraging, although it comes with a few important caveats. I'm talking about hibiscus tea. You might know it as a deep red herbal tea with a slightly tart, almost cranberry-like flavor. It's been used in traditional medicine across several cultures for a very long time. But in recent years, modern research has started to catch up, and what they're finding is worth knowing about. Several clinical studies have shown that hibiscus tea may help lower blood pressure, and this matters enormously for kidney health because high blood pressure is one of the 2 leading causes of kidney disease in the United States, right alongside diabetes. When blood pressure stays elevated over time, it damages the tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys, the ones responsible for filtering your blood. Imagine a garden hose with the water pressure turned up too high. Over time, the connections start to leak, the hose itself starts to wear. That's essentially what happens to the delicate filtering structures in your kidneys when blood pressure stays too high. Now, the blood pressure reduction seen in studies with hibiscus tea is modest. We're not talking about a replacement for medication, but even small reductions in blood pressure, as little as a few points, can make a meaningful difference over years, especially for the kidneys. One study found that drinking hibiscus tea daily for several weeks led to measurable reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure in adults with mildly elevated levels. That's the top number and the bottom number. Another analysis that pooled data from multiple studies reached a similar conclusion. The effect was real, though modest. Hibiscus tea is also naturally caffeine-free, which makes it a good option before bed. Caffeine, as most people know, can interfere with sleep, and poor sleep itself has been linked to higher blood pressure and increased stress on the kidneys. So choosing a caffeine-free drink at night works on multiple levels. But here's the caveat I promised you. If you're already taking blood pressure medication, you should talk with your doctor before adding hibiscus tea to your routine. Some research suggests it may interact with certain blood pressure drugs, potentially enhancing their effect. That's not necessarily dangerous, but it's something your doctor should be aware of so they can monitor you properly and adjust your medication if needed. Also, if you have low blood pressure to begin with, hibiscus tea might not be the best choice for you. And people who are taking certain medications for diabetes should also check first, because there's some early evidence suggesting hibiscus may influence blood sugar levels too. For most people, though, a warm cup of hibiscus tea in the evening is a safe and pleasant option. It's naturally tart, so some people add a small amount of honey. Just be mindful of the sugar if you're watching your levels. Now, this brings me to a drink that I see recommended constantly online, and I have to be honest with you about it. Cranberry juice. You've probably heard that cranberry juice is good for your kidneys. It's one of the most common pieces of health advice out there, and there is some truth to it, but it's more complicated than most people realize. Cranberry juice, particularly unsweetened cranberry juice, does contain compounds called proanthocyanidins that may help prevent certain types of urinary tract infections. Urinary tract infections, when they become frequent or severe, can eventually affect the kidneys. So, in that indirect way, cranberry juice may offer some kidney protection. But here's the problem. Most cranberry juice sold in grocery stores is not unsweetened. It's cranberry juice cocktail, and that cocktail version is loaded with added sugar. Some brands contain nearly as much sugar per glass as a can of soda, and excess sugar is one of the worst things for your kidneys. It drives up blood sugar, it contributes to weight gain, it increases the risk of diabetes. And diabetes, as I mentioned, is one of the top two causes of kidney disease. So the very drink people think is helping their kidneys may actually be increasing their risk if they're choosing the sweetened version. That's the hidden mistake I mentioned at the beginning. If you do want to use cranberry for kidney support, look for pure, unsweetened cranberry juice. It will taste quite tart. Most people mix a small amount, maybe 2 ounces, into water to make it more tolerable. That way, you get the potential benefits without the sugar load. But honestly, for a bedtime kidney drink, I still put lemon water and hibiscus tea ahead of cranberry juice. The evidence for lemon citrate and for blood pressure support from hibiscus is stronger and more directly connected to kidney protection. Let me keep going because the next part is something that almost nobody talks about, and it might be the most important thing I share with you today. It's not just about what you drink before bed, it's about what you stop drinking. One of the biggest hidden threats to kidney health in the evening is something many people consume without a second thought: soda, both regular and diet. Regular soda delivers a massive dose of sugar or high fructose corn syrup. One can of cola contains around 39 grams of sugar. That's nearly 10 teaspoons. Drinking that before bed forces your body to process all that sugar overnight. Your pancreas pumps out insulin, your blood sugar spikes, and your kidneys are caught in the middle, working to filter the excess glucose while also dealing with the phosphoric acid that many dark sodas contain. Phosphoric acid is worth pausing on. It's what gives colas their tangy bite, and research has raised concerns about high phosphoric acid intake and kidney health. Some studies have found an association between regular cola consumption and an increased risk of chronic kidney disease. The phosphoric acid may disrupt the balance of minerals in your body, particularly calcium and phosphorus, and that imbalance puts extra strain on the kidneys. Diet soda isn't necessarily a safe swap either. While it removes the sugar problem, it still contains phosphoric acid, and some research has linked artificial sweeteners to changes in kidney function, although the evidence there is still evolving. What we do know is that water, lemon water, and herbal teas are far better choices than any soda, regular or diet, especially before sleep. And while we're talking about drinks to avoid, let me mention alcohol. I know a glass of wine in the evening is something many people enjoy, and in moderate amounts, alcohol may not cause significant kidney damage in otherwise healthy adults, but alcohol is a diuretic. That means it makes you urinate more. It pulls water out of your system. And if you drink alcohol in the evening and don't compensate with extra water, you can go to bed dehydrated. Your kidneys then spend the entire night filtering concentrated waste with less fluid than they need. Over time, this pattern can contribute to kidney stress. It can also raise blood pressure overnight, which adds another layer of strain. If you do enjoy a glass of wine or beer in the evening, at the very least, follow it with a glass of water before bed. That one simple step can make a meaningful difference. Now, let me come back to something positive, because I want to leave you with practical steps you can actually use. There's one more bedtime drink option I want to share with you that's been gaining attention, and I think it deserves a place in this conversation. Tart cherry juice. Not sweet cherry juice. Tart cherry juice, sometimes called sour cherry juice. And the reason it's relevant for kidney health comes down to two things: inflammation and uric acid. Inflammation plays a role in many chronic kidney conditions. When the kidneys are under stress, whether from high blood pressure, high blood sugar, or other factors, inflammation tends to increase. That inflammation can cause further damage to the filtering units inside the kidneys, creating a cycle that's hard to break. Tart cherries are one of the richest natural sources of anthocyanins, which are powerful anti-inflammatory compounds. Several studies have shown that tart cherry juice can reduce markers of inflammation in the body. One study found that adults who consumed tart cherry juice daily had significantly lower levels of C-reactive protein, which is a key marker of systemic inflammation. The second benefit relates to uric acid. When your body breaks down certain compounds found in food, particularly purines, it produces uric acid. Normally, your kidneys filter out that uric acid and you excrete it in your urine. But when uric acid levels get too high, it can form crystals. Those crystals can deposit in joints, causing gout. They can also deposit in the kidneys, forming uric acid stones. Research suggests that tart cherry juice may help lower uric acid levels in the blood. A study found that participants who drank tart cherry juice experienced a reduction in their blood uric acid levels compared to a placebo group. For anyone prone to gout or uric acid kidney stones, this could be a meaningful benefit. Now, here's the important part. Tart cherry juice does contain natural sugar. About a 4-ounce serving can have around 15 to 20 grams of sugar, depending on the brand. That's significantly less than cranberry juice cocktail or soda, but it's not zero. If you're managing diabetes or watching your blood sugar closely, you'll want to keep the serving size small. Some people dilute 2 ounces of tart cherry juice in a glass of water, which cuts the sugar load in half while still providing those beneficial compounds. And there's another reason tart cherry juice is worth considering before bed specifically. Tart cherries are one of the few natural food sources of melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate your sleep cycle. Some preliminary studies have suggested that drinking tart cherry juice in the evening may help improve sleep quality and duration. Better sleep supports better blood pressure regulation. Better blood pressure supports healthier kidneys. It all connects. But I want to be careful here. The sleep studies on tart cherry juice are still relatively small, and more research is needed. I wouldn't call it a proven sleep aid. But the combination of anti-inflammatory benefits, uric acid reduction, and possible sleep support makes it an interesting option for your evening routine, especially if you're already looking for an alternative to sugary drinks. Let me now put this all together for you in a way that's easy to remember. If I had to rank the best bedtime drinks for kidney health based on the evidence we have right now, here's how I'd think about it. At the very top, the foundation, is plain water. Nothing replaces it. Nothing outperforms it for basic kidney support. A small glass of room temperature or warm water about 30 to 60 minutes before bed gives your kidneys the fluid they need to keep filtering overnight without sending you to the bathroom repeatedly. Next, lemon water. Take that same glass of water and add the juice of half a fresh lemon. Now you've added citrate protection against kidney stones, a small boost of vitamin C, and essentially zero sugar. For most people, this is the single most practical upgrade to their evening routine. Third, hibiscus tea. Caffeine-free, potentially supportive for blood pressure, pleasant to drink warm, and no sugar if you skip the sweetener. An excellent choice for anyone concerned about blood pressure and kidney health. Fourth, tart cherry juice in a small amount, diluted with water if needed. Good anti-inflammatory potential, may help with uric acid levels, and could support sleep. Just be mindful of the sugar content and keep portions reasonable, and the drinks to reduce or avoid before bed: sweetened cranberry juice cocktail, soda of any kind, excessive caffeine, and alcohol without adequate water to follow it. Now let me share something that ties this all together, because it's not just what you drink, it's the habit itself. I've noticed something over the years with the people I work with. The ones who see the biggest improvements in their health are rarely the ones making dramatic overnight changes. They're the ones who adopt small, consistent habits and stick with them. A glass of lemon water before bed is a tiny thing. It takes maybe 90 seconds to prepare, but done consistently, night after night, for months and years, it becomes part of who you are. It becomes automatic. And those small deposits of care add up in ways that are hard to see day by day, but become obvious over time. Think of it like a savings account. You don't notice a few dollars each day, but after a year, after 5 years, you've built something meaningful. Your kidneys respond the same way. Small, consistent support adds up to significant protection over the long term. Let me give you a simple evening plan you can start tonight. About an hour before bed, put the kettle on or pour a glass of room temperature water. Squeeze in half a lemon. If you prefer something warm and you're not on blood pressure medication that might interact, try a cup of hibiscus tea instead, or alternate between the two on different nights. Sip it slowly. Don't rush. Let it become the moment where your day starts to wind down. Use the bathroom before you get into bed. And in the morning, before your coffee, before your breakfast, start with another glass of water. Plain is fine. Lemon is even better. Give your kidneys a head start on the day. They've been working all night. They need the support. That morning glass is just as important, but that's a conversation for another time. Here's something else I want you to keep in mind. These drinks are supportive measures. They're not treatments. If you have kidney disease, if your doctor has told you that your kidney function is declining, if you're on dialysis or have been told to limit fluids, then your situation is different and you should follow your medical team's guidance closely. Some people with advanced kidney disease are actually told to restrict fluids, and for them, Adding extra water before bed could be harmful. Always check with your doctor if you have an existing kidney condition. For those with healthy kidneys or mild concerns, though, these habits are among the simplest and most evidence supported things you can do to keep those two small organs working well for years to come. I also want to mention something about supplements because I get asked about this constantly. There are kidney support supplements sold everywhere, online, in pharmacies, in health food stores. Many of them contain herbal blends with ingredients that haven't been well studied. Some contain herbs that can actually be toxic to the kidneys in certain doses. Aristolactic acid, found in some traditional herbal products, is a known kidney toxin. Some weight loss supplements and muscle building products have been linked to kidney injury as well. My general advice is this: before you spend money on a supplement marketed for kidney health, talk to your doctor. In many cases, the best thing for your kidneys is also the cheapest: water, lemon, a cup of tea, a balanced diet, regular movement, consistent sleep. These fundamentals will outperform most supplements on the market. Let me circle back one more time to Margaret, because her story has a good ending, and I think it's worth hearing. After our conversation, she stopped buying those expensive kidney detox teas. She stopped adding cranberry juice cocktail to her evening routine, which she'd been doing for years thinking it was healthy. She switched to a simple glass of warm lemon water most nights and hibiscus tea on the nights she wanted something with more flavor. At her next checkup, about 6 months later, her kidney function numbers were stable. Her blood pressure had come down a few points. She was sleeping better, and she told me she felt like she'd taken back some control over her own health. That feeling, that sense of empowerment is worth more than any supplement or special product. She didn't make a dramatic change. She made a small, smart one, and she stuck with it. That's what I'm encouraging you to do. Let me leave you with a quick summary of what we covered today. Your kidneys work around the clock, including while you sleep. What you drink before bed directly affects how efficiently they can filter waste and recover overnight. The best bedtime drink for kidney health, based on available evidence, is water with fresh lemon juice. It's simple, cheap, sugar-free, and provides citrate that may help prevent the most common type of kidney stone. Hibiscus tea is an excellent caffeine-free alternative that may offer blood pressure support. Tart cherry juice in small amounts may help with inflammation and uric acid. And the drinks to avoid before bed, sweetened juice, soda, excessive caffeine, and alcohol without water, are just as important to recognize. Small, consistent habits build big, long-term results. Start tonight. One glass, half a lemon, warm or room temperature. Give your kidneys the support they've been quietly asking for. Now, before I finish, I want to plant a seed for something important. We talked today about what to drink for your kidneys, but there's another side to this that most people completely overlook. It's not about what you drink, it's about what you eat. And there are certain foods that many people consider healthy, that can actually put a surprising amount of stress on your kidneys, especially if you eat them regularly in the evening. That's exactly what I'm going to walk you through in the next video. I think it's going to open your eyes because some of these foods are in almost everyone's kitchen. If today's information was helpful, let me know in the comments. Tell me, what do you usually drink before bed? I'm genuinely curious. And if you're not subscribed yet, come join us. I share new information every week designed to help you take better care of yourself as you get older. Simple, practical, honest. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself tonight. Your kidneys will thank you in the morning.